There's a number Statistics Canada publishes that almost nobody looks up: the median net worth of a Canadian household at every stage of life. Today, I'm going to show you the whole ladder, by age. And then the uncomfortable part nobody puts beside it, where women specifically land on that ladder, and why the line for women sits lower at almost every step. These are real numbers, straight from the most recent survey of financial security. Not vibes, not a survey of your relatives, the actual middle of the country. No guilt, no shame, no pep talk. Just the math, who it leaves behind, and the boring Canadian moves that pull your own number back up. I am Nick, and this is Boring Money Canada. I'm going to walk you through the net worth ladder by age, the 3 structural reasons women end up behind, and 4 specific moves that change your line. First, one word that changes everything you're about to see: median, not average. Average is the number a few very wealthy people drag way up. If 9 households have nothing and one has $10 million, the average says everyone has $1 million. That's a lie that makes you feel poor. Median is the household standing exactly in the middle of the line. Half are above it, half are below. That's the honest number, and it's the one we're using for every age today. Net worth itself is simple. It's everything you own: savings, investments, home equity, your pension's value, minus everything you owe. One number. What's left if the music stopped today? Let's start with households where the main earner is under 35. Under 35, the median Canadian household has a net worth of about $159,000. That sounds high for young, and there's a reason. A chunk of that is home equity for the ones who manage to buy. If you're in your 20s or early 30s and nowhere near that number, breathe. The households pulling that median up almost all own a home. Renters in the same age group sit dramatically lower. You are not broken. You're renting in the most expensive housing market this country has ever had. The thing that matters this early is not the size of the number, it's the direction. A small number moving up beats a bigger number standing still. Now let's move up a decade, to the 35 to 44 group. Here the median household net worth jumps to roughly $409,000. This is the decade where 2 engines finally kick in: home equity building and a retirement account that's had 10 or 15 years to compound. But hold on, that's a household number. Often 2 incomes and 1 shared home behind it. The moment you look at one person on their own, the picture changes hard. And that's exactly where women get exposed. We'll get to the individual numbers in a minute. For now, know this: the next 10 years do the heaviest lifting of your entire financial life. This is the decade compounding stops being theoretical and starts being visible. Now we move into the 45 to 54 group. The median household here is worth about $522,000. The mortgage is smaller, the investments are larger, and for most people, this is peak earning power. This is also the catch-up decade, and Canada actually builds tools for it: RRSP room that carries forward, TFSA room that keeps stacking, accounts designed for exactly this stretch. Most people never fully use them because nobody told them the room was there. If your number is lower than you hoped, this is not the time to look away. This is the last 10-year window where deliberate moves still have real time to compound before you need the money. Now the 55 to 64 group, the home stretch before retirement. The median household here lands around $873,000. House mostly or fully paid, retirement accounts at their largest, CPP and old age security finally close enough to feel real. But here's where the household number quietly falls apart. Pull out one person living alone, and the median drops to about $183,000. Same country, same age. 1 income instead of 2, 1 set of savings instead of shared. And that person living alone is far more often a woman, because women live about 4.5 years longer than men. So the people most likely to face retirement on a single, smaller number are women. And that's before we even get to why their number was lower to begin with. Reason 1. The wage gap doesn't just cost you a paycheck, it compounds. A woman working full-time in Canada still earns around 88 cents for every dollar a man earns, about a 12% gap on average. 12% sounds survivable. It isn't over a career, because that missing 12% was never just spending money. Part of it would have been invested. And the part that would have been invested would have grown every year for decades. You don't lose the 12%. You lose the 12% plus everything it would have become. Reason 2. Career breaks. The years out of the workforce that show up far more often on women's resumes than men's. Maternity leave. Caring for a child. Later, often, caring for an aging parent. Real, necessary, usually unpaid work that lands disproportionately on women and quietly erases contribution years. And it's not only the salary you miss during those years, it's the retirement contributions you didn't make, the employer match you didn't collect, and the CPP credits that didn't get earned. The break ends, the financial dent doesn't. Reason 3, and it's the one nobody plans for. You'll probably live longer. Living longer is a gift, but financially it means your money has to last more years. Your healthcare costs run higher, and there's a real chance you'll spend your final years managing money alone. A smaller pile, divided by more years, with no second income to lean on. That's the $183,000 number, up close. So, paid less, more years out of the workforce, more years to fund a loan. 3 structural forces, none of them about discipline or effort. Now the good part, the 4 moves that push your line back up. Move 1. Automate a percentage, not a dollar amount. Most people set up a fixed transfer, say $200 a month, and never touch it again, even as their income climbs. Switch it to a percentage of your pay instead, 10%, or whatever you can hold. A percentage raises your savings automatically every time you get a raise, before lifestyle creep can eat it. It's the single easiest way to make sure a wage gap doesn't also become a savings gap. Move 2. If you have a higher earning spouse, the spousal RRSP. The higher earner contributes to an account in the lower earner's name and gets the deduction at their bigger tax rate now. Later, the money comes out taxed in the lower earner's hands, usually a far smaller bill. Just mind the rule. The money has to sit for 3 full calendar years or the withdrawal gets taxed back to the contributor. Move 3. Do not fully stop investing during a parental leave. Even a small automatic contribution, $25 or $50 a month, kept running through a leave keeps the habit alive and keeps the compounding clock ticking through the exact years it usually stops. The amount barely matters. The unbroken line matters enormously. Move 4, and almost nobody claims it. The CPP child rearing provision. When you take time off to raise a child under 7, those low or zero income years can drag down your future CPP payment for life. The child rearing provision drops those years out of the calculation, so your benefit is figured on your working years instead. It is not automatic. You have to ask for it on the form when you apply. Most people never do. Put those 4 together, and they aim straight at the 3 reasons the gap exists. A percentage beats the wage gap. The spousal RRSP and the CPP provision repair the career break years. And starting earlier, never fully stopping, buys you the extra years that a longer life demands. So here's the whole thing in one breath. Median household net worth runs about $159,000 under 35, $409,000 in your late 30s to mid 40s, $522,000 into your early 50s, and $873,000 approaching retirement. But living alone, that number falls to around $183,000. And that single household is most often a woman. If you're above your line, good. Now you know the gap is real and you can stay ahead of it on purpose. If you're below it, you also now know it was never mostly about you. It was structural. And structural problems have structural fixes. This week, do one thing. Open your accounts, add it up honestly, and find your own number. Not the median, yours. You cannot move a number you refuse to look at. I am Nick. This is Boring Money Canada. If this gave you a real number to aim at, hit like and subscribe. There's a new one every week on the quiet Canadian math nobody explains. We'll see you in the next one.